Vishal, just a quick reaction on the markets. Last 2 days, we have seen selling pressure, but then we are not exactly closing at the day's low. It should be taken in positively?
Yeah, definitely it should be taken as positively because we had a strong rally from 6900, almost like a perpendicular rally. So we need to consolidate a bit between this 74 and 75 for a few days, maybe before taking on to the next level of 7700.
Right, and will this, taking out this important level, will be needed to be, supported by some sort of event? So we have the ECB today, we have the Fed meet next week, a big global rally in commodities, something like that is needed for that, that level to be taken on quite quickly?
Maybe an event would help to get it passed with a gap or maybe with a sharp increase in volume. So definitely, and with so many events lined up, I think that would be a good trigger to get past this level. Definitely, we are out of the woods based on what we saw in the last week, and any dip is also to be taken as a buying opportunity.
Right, and what should be the targets when we substantially close above the 7550?
Then we straight away look at 7750 to 7800 as the next target. Maybe if it goes, it is followed by an event, then definitely we can hit it in this expiry itself.
Right. Mayuresh, what is your view on Crompton?
No, clearly, with the sale that has happened on the power transmission and the system business, they're curtailing the losses that they were incurring year after year. So 250 and another 200 crores on the system business, almost 450 crores of losses is what they'll get out of their books. With the kind of infusion that one really expects to come through, the company will become debt-free. So there's no servicing of interest payments from FY17. And the consumer business is doing exceptionally well for Crompton Greaves. It was the power transmission business which was probably being a laggard for the company. So clearly you will expect an EPS upgrade happening specifically on its non-consumer business, whatever's left of it. And clearly in terms of earnings upgrades, though the top line might degrow because of the non-contribution of the power business from FY17, you will see a huge spike up happening in profitability. So I think investors holding on to the stock should continue holding on to Crompton Greaves.
Right. Mayuresh, just stay on with us. Vishal, stay on with us. We're just going to the closing about close to about 90 seconds remaining as far as closing is concerned. It's a decent day, 46 odd points in terms of decline, and it's looking okay. Just in and around the 7500. That's essentially what we are looking at in terms of levels. Infosys down 3%, but it was backed by a big block deal that happened today. Coal India down about 0.16, Tata Steel up about 0.4, BHEL down 2.8, 104, 105, Kane India up about 3%, 141 level. It was strong right from the word go since morning. Tata Motors up about 0.13, Axis Bank down about 1%, PNB down close to 1%, HDFC Limited was one of the key reasons why market recovered, so it's up about 2.5%. Reliance Industries 2.5% decline, Idea down about 1.5%, Kotak Bank down about 0.5%, NTPC up about 0.6, 127, 128 for NTPC. Tech Mahindra, 0.25% higher. Tata Power up about 0.3. HCL Tech up close to about 0.07. Actually, absolutely flat for HCL Technologies. L&T down 2.5%, 1,183. Bharti up about 1.1. Adani Ports up about 0.3, Wipro down about 0.37, 536. HUL, 0.25% decline, IndusInd Bank down about 0.7, Maruti up about 1%, 1.5 actually, to be precise. GAIL down about 2.5%, 340. TCS down about 0.5. Asian Paints 2% higher, Z Entertainment down about 1% or so. Lupin down 0.25%, M&M down about 1%, HDFC Limited down about 0.35, Hero MotoCorp down about 0.5%. Dr. Reddy's 1.5% decline, ACC down about 1%, Bajaj Auto up about 0.2%. Kane India 3% higher, 3.5 rather was among the top gainers. Hindalco was the second top gainer, 2.9% higher, 83.5 for Hindalco. HDFC Limited up about 2.5, 1,157 for HDFC Limited. Asian Paints 2% higher, close to 900 now, going back to the almost the all-time high. Maruti up about 1.3, 3,625, 1 million shares traded for Maruti Limited. Bharti Airtel 1.5% higher, 338. Cipla up about 1%, 534 for Cipla. NTPC 0.5% higher, 127, 128 for NTPC, 3 million shares traded. Sun Pharma up about 0.3%, 864, 2 million shares traded for Sun Pharma. Adani Ports up about almost about 0.3%, 226, 227 for Adani Ports, 1.5 million shares traded for Adani Ports. Let's look at some of the losers as well. I think BHEL, okay, Reliance was the top loser, and maybe that's the reason why markets did not particularly recover a lot in the second half, because when we started the show, BHEL was the top loser. Reliance next, BHEL coming in the second top loser. Infosys again a heavyweight, 3% sort of a decline. GAIL down about 2.5%, 340 odd for GAIL Limited. We were talking to Mayuresh as well as Vishal Malkan. Both of them are still with us. Vishal, any view as far as Reliance Industries is concerned? It's looking in good.
I think Reliance has been a kind of a non-trading stock for so many months now, and it's been in that range since so long. So I would definitely not pick up Reliance as my trading bet, but better than that, we would look at Reliance Capital or Reliance Infra, which gives you good swings up and down. Both can be traded from long as well as short. Especially Reliance Infra is one stock which I'm looking at to buy on dips around 470 to 475 would be a good dip to buy.
Right. At what level would you be looking to buy, you said?
$470 to $475, Reliance Infra would be a good pick to buy.
And what would be your target? Can it go back to the levels of 600? 600 is where it turned back from, right?
Yes, we can look at targets of around 550 to 575, go and retest those levels of 600 also, maybe in couple of expiries.
Right. What would you look at some of the other ADAG names? Reliance Capital, Reliance Communication, anything of that also looking good? But the main interest seems to be in Reliance Infra and Reliance Capital.
Yes, main interest would be Reliance Capital and Reliance Infra, both of them almost move in the same direction, but I would say Reliance Infra would have an edge over Reliance Capital. I would not look at our communication or anything else in that sector as of now.
Right. Mayuresh, on the fundamental side, Reliance Infra is one of the cheaply valued infrastructure company.
Yes, it is. But again, I think what we really like within the infrastructure space, and it's a large space, to be very honest. So within the construction space, L&T is something that we will still prefer within the large cap names. Within the infrastructure theme as a whole, roads and highways, EPC players is something that we're still very sanguine about. And our own take is with the kind of allocation of 57,900 crores that the finance minister has done, it's going to abet the industry in a big fashion over the next 2 to 3 years. So the EPC players like PNC Infrastructure, KNR Construction, Sadbhav Engineering is something we are probably liking at this point of time.
Right. What's your view on Just Dial, Mayuresh? You think that once the buyback is behind, it will again go and test its previous lows, or the interest essentially would decline?
So it is possible because it's in a lock-in period till the 18th and then it'll open up on the 21st. Now what essentially is happening is the kind of slowdown that we've seen in a couple of its launches, whether it's the Omni JD or whether it's the Search Plus app, the kind of expenses on a recurring basis that will go through in servicing the kind of requirements that one really needs to fulfill in terms of revenue projections is going to take some amount of time. So the cash flow from operations from the new apps is going to take a while. There are operating expenses in terms of field sales going up, and clearly the margins might get impacted over the next couple of quarters. So clearly at this point of time, largely maintaining a neutral view. And again, I think investors have to be very, very careful, because once the buyback date is probably over on the 18th, when the stock opens up on 21st, you might be having a different reaction onto the stock altogether.
Right. Vishal, what will be your view on Just Dial?
I would say still not out of the woods. Maybe a rally of around another 4-5% should be taken as exit rally, and we can exit your longs out of that and look at some better momentum stocks to go long for.
Right, but can you short this name?
I would like to go with stocks. Couple of stocks which I'm on on my radar would be, one is the one stock which has not moved up much in the last couple of months is Ambuja Cement, which is showing good signs in the last couple of trading sessions or trading above that 200 level. So I think we can see the level of around 215 to 220 very sharply in the next few trading sessions. Then I'm also looking at Adani Ports, which is looking very good on the charts on daily as well as weekly, where I can see a target of around 245 to 250 in a couple of or 3-4 trading sessions. And also I look at Crompton for another 10% rise from here.
Right, but Crompton, you know that if it has to go up 10%, it has to go up in the next 2 days.
Yeah, that's there on the chart. So I think next couple of days we should see some good movement on that counter.
No, what I'm saying is that on next Tuesday, we have the adjustment of Crompton coming in. So after that, the price would be materially different. And even the FNO would expire.
I understand. That's what. And typically on this kind of events, when something like this is happening, we see some sharp volatility in the stock, and we can expect good movement. At least 5 to 6% is not ruled out in the next couple of trading sessions.
Right. Vishal, what will be your view on Kane India? It's slowly and steadily moving up back to the levels of 140. Is it showing some momentum on the charts?
I think there is some more room left on this stock. Around 148, 150 would be a level where it can face some resistance, but definitely not a great trading stock, or maybe right now not the right time to get into even on a medium term investment level. So I would definitely avoid this stock for the time being and look at other counters which I mentioned.
Right. Mayuresh, what will be your view on Kane India at 141? Would you be skeptical to buy from here on?
No, again, Pankaj, largely wait and watch, because what happens in terms of the key overhangs, what happens with production sharing contracts, what happens with his output, what happens with the tax liability. I think all these factors are going to play headwinds in terms of how the stock movement might be. Secondly, I think the correlation with crude, and you've seen a nice rebound happening on crude prices, which is probably getting reflective in the way the stock is moving at this point of time. Yes, it is cash position and the cash and cash equivalents on its balance sheet is supporting the price at this point of time. But again, I think the core business is going through a very cyclical adjustment globally at this point of time. And even domestically, I think these issues persist as has been for the stock. So fundamentally, at least, I think I'll be staying away from this stock at this point of time in terms of fresh buying. And again, I think once we receive clarity on all these issues over the next few months or quarters, I think you'll get the confidence probably to see and assume that crude has probably stabilized, the bottom has formed, and a lot of the other concerns related to the tax liabilities and the production sharing liabilities in terms of how the contractual applications will pan out will probably get ironed out. So again, I think wait and watch at this point of time, at least for Kane India.
Right. Mayuresh, what's your view on Yes Bank? It's being one of the strong banks among the banking space. Do you think that it can go higher from here on? And they have delivered in Q3 versus some of the other private sector names.
Oh yes, again, I think the numbers were exceptionally good at the quarter gone by, and if one really assumes the kind of capital adequacy that the bank is maintaining at this point of time, the accretion that is happening on the CASA front, all positive developments happening, and that would support earnings growth in excess of 20-21% over the next couple of years. Secondly, the asset quality is held up much better than the larger private sector peers. So I think Yes Bank is attractively placed at this point of time, both in terms of how the earnings outlook for the bank looks like, and if there is a credit growth cycle which resumes over the next few months, I think it will be a key beneficiary along with other larger private sector banks. So we maintain a positive outlook, and again, I think we might be holding this stock on behalf of our PMS clients.
Right. Vishal, what is your view on Yes Bank? Is it looking stronger versus some of the other banking names?
Yes, definitely I agree with Mayuresh on that, and I think Yes Bank is one of the stronger banks in terms of charts, also on daily as well as weekly charts. So if I have to buy any banking stock, then first would be Yes Bank and second would be Bank of Baroda.
Right. Vishal, thank you so much for taking out time for us. Mayuresh, always a pleasure talking to you.